Hey, and welcome to the Meditations and Musings podcast. I'm Elena Lipson. I'm a mama, I'm a wife, and I'm the founder of the Divine Self-Care Circle membership and the Virtual Retreat Academy. I don't believe that you have to sacrifice your body, your health, or your family in order to create true abundance and prosperity. I believe in living based on the divine feminine metrics of success, and these include pleasure, play, ease, grace, and a slower pace. Each week, I'll bring you 1 to 2 new episodes. One of these will be a guided meditation that you don't have to do on the meditation pillow, and the other will be a conversation to help you access your inner wisdom, to ignite abundance, and inspire others to do the same. I invite you to join me on this journey back to the magic of a divinely aligned and well cared for you. And now, join me for today's episode. Hello, this is Elena Lipson, your divine mentor, and today I have a very special episode for you. It is a live recording from my day 1 of the Align from Inside Masterclass series. And it is special because I give you lots of information and content regarding how to get aligned and how to create what you want in your life without having to wait forever, right? Because most people are envisioning the things they want to create to be out there someday, far, far in the future. But when you activate alignment, when you learn to create from within, when you start to feel what it's like with joy, enthusiasm, boundaries, and all the things we talk about in today's workshop, you're going to realize that you don't have to wait forever to create what you want if you can learn to be fully present in the current moment. And I give you all the tools to do that during this workshop. And at the end of the workshop, you'll experience a quantum alignment activation, which is a guided meditation process that helps you to release things in your past, to shed and forgive, and to be fully present, embrace the current moment, and to allow and receive what the future has waiting for you right now. So enjoy this meditation and enjoy this masterclass. And you can actually join the next 2 days of the masterclass and get the recordings when you sign up. And you can do that in the show notes or on Instagram at Elena_Lipson. So let's go ahead and get to it. Enjoy. I am so excited that you're here. I know people are still going to be hopping on over the next few minutes. Heather, so good to see you. Excited and energized. Awesome. Let me know how you're feeling. Hey, Hopi, nice to see you. Nice to meet you. I see many new faces in the group. Let's see. Again, I can see your numbers, but I can't see your name. So as we're getting started, yes, this is being recorded. So if for some reason you need to leave early, lunch, kids, dogs, whatever, life, please know that this will be in the group until Wednesday evening, possibly Friday. I'm going to make that decision as I go. As you get to know me, you will see that I do a lot of intuitive, strategic planning, which for me is how I get aligned in my business. Thank you, Gina. The lipstick matters, right? It's part of how I get aligned. It's this visual, external experience, but it all starts from my inner knowing of what works for me, which is what we are talking about today. So I wanted to start by reading, if you haven't had a chance to answer the welcome question that I posted yesterday, which is 1, what I truly hope to experience during this time together is. Number 2, if I wave my magic wand, the one thing I would create or change in my life and business is. And I just want to read a few of these to you because I want you to know that there's no right or wrong here. What you want to create is so individual to you and so unique to you. And it's the thing that's going to help you to tune into the how, because what we do wrong, most of us, me included, is we want to create something and we go right into the how instead of the what and the why and the getting aligned part. So the how is the part that keeps us stuck in never-ending quicksand. and it keeps us stuck in reaching for more information. It keeps us stuck in other people's opinions, expectations, and approval. And we're going to go through that today. And I'm going to end today's session, like I will with every session today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, with slightly different content throughout the session. And then we're going to end every session with a quantum activation exercise that is going to help you to get aligned, hey Vera, and to get super present with how you close the gap from where you are to where you want to be. And so that it doesn't seem like a Grand Canyon. In fact, it's quantum. That's why it's called the quantum alignment method, because time is an experience. It's a thing we all commit to and agree to. And I am a time bender. That is one of my gifts. I'm a time activator and a time bender, so that I can see things very quickly from all angles. And I have learned for myself the things that keep me stuck, the things that keep me moving, and the things that make things happen like that. The only reason things don't show up for us very quickly and right in the moment when we create and manifest is because we're trying to align from external, practical, common sense places, but inside we are timeless, we are spaceless, right? So we're going to get into all of that. But first, I wanted to read a few of these for you as we're logging in. And those of you just arriving, put in the comments below, how are you feeling right now? I want to know like your current emotional state. You can say like on a scale of 1 to 10, I feel like 10 being the most excited, lit up, enthusiastic, to 0 being like, glad I got out of bed today. So on a scale of 0 to 10, where are you? And if you want to share why, I'd love to know why you think you are, I should say. Okay, so Sharon says, what I truly hope to experience during this time together is I want to walk away with a better handle on how to think, act, feel, and be in true alignment. Yes. And since Sharon is already in the circle, we're going to be working on this all year. So yes, Sharon. And then she says, if I wave my magic wand, the one thing I would create or change in my life or business is choosing and fully owning the amount I wish to make each year. Ooh, that's good. I'd love to know how much that is. Do you know how much it is? That's a good place to start. Okay, then Casey says, what I truly hope to experience during this time together is elevation in what is already working for me. I am excited to hear new thoughts and ideas about how I can continue to up-level my biz and mindset around what is possible. Absolutely. If I waved my magic wand, the one thing I would create or change in my life business is I'm always looking to be better at boundaries. We're going to talk about that. That invite expansion in abundance and cash flow and reach and impact. We will be talking exactly about that. Awesome. Stephanie says, what I truly hope to experience during this time together is certainty I am will make it on my own with my luxe, beautiful apartment. Awesome. I can start seeing that already. Then she says, if I wave my magic wand, the one thing I would create or change in my life or business is keeping up my website and adding a blog. Super simple, right? Totally doable. Let's see. Karen is looking for inspiration and sanctity. Joanne is looking for a deeper knowledge and experience of my soul. I love that. I love it. And yes, totally. For my soul-led path to be clear to me. Yes. Soul-led path. That's the magic wand wish. And Gina says, more clarity around my feelings, needs, and desires. Got you covered. Wave your magic wand and have the courage to act accordingly to my needs, feelings, and wishes. That sounds like alignment to me. Lynn says, how to use my voice to create abundance in my life. Yes, perfect, Lynn. Awesome. And 2, magic wand wish is to be able to not feel guilty or make excuses in order to make changes in my own life. Yes, let's get rid of those. Like guilt is awesome, but it's totally a waste of time in some ways too. And then Raki says clarity around my blocks and easy commitment to self-care. Awesome. Okay. That's beautiful. I love all of those. Yes. Casey, Jacinda, dead. Too many late nights in a row. Awesome. I get you. Mary, hey, so good to see you. Okay, so there's lots of friends here who I've known, some new friends and some very new friends that I'm yet to know. So I'm very, very excited to be here with you. I'm going to be sharing everything that you said in those comments is what we're going to be talking about today. So I'd love for you to just take a deep breath. and bring yourself into the present moment, because what I will be sharing and reminding you of throughout this entire experience, and what I remind my divines in my circle of for the last 6 years, is the only place that you can create from is the present, right? Because the past we're going to talk about and the future we're going to talk about. And that's exactly that. We're going to work on that in the quantum activation exercise that we do at the very end. So stick around, grab your journal and pen, because I guarantee you one of my gifts is to activate you to new ways of thinking about yourself, new ways of seeing possibilities. So you're going to want a pen because you're going to want to write things down. Okay, so Heather says, if I could wave a magic wand, I would like to release all doubt that floats around my business to fully launch it into the world. Yes. So good. We need amazing women doing their soul's work in the world because it's time, right? The only place you can create from is the present. Exactly. And Sharon, I'm so glad you're here. Awesome. Okay. I'm all buzzy, you guys. This is like my jam. I love teaching. Okay. So first of all, welcome. This is Elena Lipson. That's me. That's why you're here. Hopefully you're here to learn how to get aligned from the inside. You're on the right flight if that's what you got on for. So my intention, my only deepest intention during this time, of course I have a marketing intention towards the end. Let me just say it up front. Starting today, we are officially opening the doors on the Divinely Aligned Circle, which has been the Divine Self-Care Circle for the past 6 years. This year is all new content, all new branding, all new energy. We're focusing deeply on quantum creation and quantum alignment. The doors are open today. So I will be sharing that with you. That is my soul's work. So do not doubt it. I will be inviting you into the circle. I'll be sharing the link today. There's special bonuses for anyone who joins this week during the live launch period. And I'll be sharing those later. So just plant that seed in your mind. If you enjoy spending time with me, and you want to spend more time with me beyond this experience, then there will be an opportunity to do that, both in the circle as well as an inner circle where there will be specific business coaching. So my intention, again, is to activate you to new ways of seeing yourself, new ways of experiencing all of those wishes that you see, like on a scale of 1 to 10. Just tell me, how possible do you think your wish is? Like, hell yes, I'm making it happen. Or I'm not so sure, there's something standing in the way. Or I just don't see how it's possible. Like, I'd love to know on a scale of 1 to 10, that magic wand wish that you have, building a business, creating that apartment, like all the things that you want, creating your soul's expression. How possible does it seem for you? I want to know, and I want to know why. We'll talk about that later. So what does it mean to be aligned from inside? I'm going to tell you both what it means to be aligned from inside and what it means to be aligned externally. And I want you to just feel the difference in your body as I read each one to you, as I speak each one to you. I've got my little list here so I don't forget any, because I'm famous for going on tangents. So I really want to stay focused on this content for you. So internal alignment versus external alignment. So even before that, align means, like, when you think about alignment, my first thought is a car, right? Like, you're sitting in a car and the foundation of your car has alignment so that when you point the wheels in a certain direction, you go there, right? You want to go that way, you go. But when your alignment is off, something is off, you want to go straight, but you keep like veering right? You don't know why, but you always end up somewhere else. Like, you want to go here, you filled up the car with gas, you have this like destination that you want to go, but something is veering off to the right or to the left. And that misalignment is what I want to shine the light on today, because there's many reasons why we get into misalignment, and the reason for me that I'm going to share with you today is that we are not internally focused, but we are instead externally focused, which is very easy to do. There's a lot of external stimulation and people telling you what to do and how to do it in all areas of your life and your business. And today we're going to bring some of that awareness back within. So internal alignment versus external alignment. When you're internally aligned, you have your own personal discernment. You know what is a yes, what is a no. You are able to navigate with this internal knowing of what you like and what you don't like. When you're externally focused, you are reacting from other people's opinions, other people's expectations, and other people's approval. So that before you do anything, there's this barrier in front of you that you feel like you have to cross, and that is checking in with other people. And that is the fastest way to staying stuck, right? It's kind of an oxymoronic there. It's a fast way to stay stuck, right? Internal alignment looks like calibrating as you go because you have a sense of what you like and what you don't like. External alignment looks like doubting everything and overthinking every decision you make. Now, of course, some people are more intuitive and emotional based. Some people are more analytical, but your mind is not actually meant to make decisions. Your mind is actually meant to strategize like the decision pieces. But we all get confused thinking like, oh, I'm actually intellectual and mental, so I should make my decision from my mind. But that's not where true decision making happens. True decision is actually an embodied process. And I'm going to show you the difference between that as well. Internal aligned is congruence. What you say, what you think, and what you do is congruent. You don't think one thing, wish one thing, but then never do anything about it. That's incongruent, right? That's dissonance. Dissonance is external alignment, meaning you really want something, you've been dreaming about it for a long time, but every time you start to make or take any action around it, you get stuck in other people's expectations, opinions, and alignment. Approval. Internally aligned is you attract things. You know yourself so well, and you are constantly discerning and calibrating to what it is that you want, that things just seemingly seem to show up for you. You become magnetic, you attract. You're like, wow, I just had this thought and it happened, right? You manifest very easily. Versus external alignment, you feel like you have to constantly push that rock up the hill. You're constantly pushing through to make things happen. And quite honestly, it's exhausting. I've done both. And I promise you that even though it feels scarier to just trust and attract, it is the much more aligned way, and it's much more fun, right? We don't talk about fun in business enough. It can be fun, whether you're working for a company or yourself, you actually can have fun. Like when I was in corporate, I was known to have these really fun presentations that I would fill with all this color. People would fly me out to do certain workshops because I made them fun. That's profitable, right? Internal alignment is you know, you like, and you trust yourself, right? In marketing online, people are always talking about like knowing and liking and trusting, having customers know you, like you, trust you. But first, you have to know you. You have to like you. You have to trust you. That's the outcome of having internal alignment. When you have external alignment, you think, not correctly, but you think and you feel like others know you better. Like you need to ask somebody else for what you should do. You need to constantly ask everyone about what the right next thing is. It's like asking for advice, but not before you actually ask yourself, right? What do you want? Like you think you need a savior. You might not say it out loud, but it's this kind of like victim, child, sabotage archetype that we're not going to get deep into archetypes today, but I know Casey is deep into archetypes. We're not going to get into that today. We will in the circle, but I just want to give you a little bit of like a peek behind the curtain that if you find yourself always asking other people and waiting for someone to help you, not get support, that's different. You are stuck in this child victim archetype where you're waiting for somebody else to do it for you. And you are a grown person. You can do it yourself. Even if you get it wrong, it's still you doing it. Internal alignment is you are you, regardless of who's looking or not looking. Like if you're alone, if you're in the bookstore or on stage, you are you. Like, of course, when the camera turns on, I have a different sort of energy that comes out, but I'm still me. I'm not pretending to be somebody else. I am me. And those of you who have known me and met me live, and those of you who will, you'll see that I am still me. Like I have my up days, my down days, my grumpy days, my happy days, but I'm still me. And I am internally, I'm sourced from within. I don't wait for somebody else to tell me whether I should feel happy today or not. The other side of that, external alignment, looks like you feel like you have to contort and be somebody different or perfect when you go live on social media or post something or talk to a friend or talk to certain people. You feel like you have to contort yourself. And that means you're externally aligned, which is exhausting. It's exhausting, right? And internally aligned, the opposite of that is when it's easy for you to share and get visible in a way that feels good to you. Doesn't mean you always have to do I have to go live every day. I have to make videos every day. I have to record 10 podcasts a week. No, you get to discern for yourself what visibility looks and feels like for you. And then it actually becomes magnetic and resonant. You're starting to see how this is all kind of weaving in together. Okay. So what does it look like when you're aligned from the inside? It looks like you are rooted like a tree, not like a leaf blowing in the wind. It looks like you're embodied. And I want to hear from you, which one of these resonate for you? Yes, this is me. I'm also going to tell you what it feels like not to be aligned. And I want you to tell me, yes, this is me. Or I can see the comments are a little behind here, but that's okay. They'll come back up. I want you to say wow, I really relate to this. And I want to hear from you, which of these feel like you are in that space right now or have been. Chills of truth is a huge alignment indicator for me. I know for a lot of women I work with as well, when you get those chills, for me, when something's a yes and aligned, it's like a chill down my back. It's like my body's communicating loud and clear. You begin to trust the timing of your life. You can be excited and get a little impatient, but you don't sabotage yourself by constantly changing your mind or constantly saying, oh, I tried it once, it didn't work, so I'm not doing it, right? That to me is a sabotage when you're not aligned from inside. You also start to see the magic in the mundane. To me, this is so important that when you're aligned from inside, you start to see that it's not just the magical, huge, big things that happen, like getting invited to speak on the Mel Robbins show like I got last year. Those are great, but they don't happen all the time. So if you're only waiting for the big things to happen, like hosting a retreat or having a huge client come in and pay you $10,000 for, coaching, those are the big things that are awesome. That can happen more and more and more. However, if you start to see magic in the mundane, that's when things become sacred. That's when the things you do, from the smallest things like sending an email to cleaning out your closet to creating marketing and a sales page, right? That's when it starts to feel like you're actually living an aligned life versus trying to reach some destination. So you'll start seeing this theme come in, right? It's happening now. And finally, when you're living aligned from the inside, pleasure becomes a priority. Fun becomes a priority, not an afterthought, not as an award for all the hard work you do or reward for the hard work you do. It is actually the most important thing, because you understand that when you feel good, and you're allowed to feel good, you're worthy of feeling good, that you are actually becoming resonant and aligned and attracting from a place of joy, instead of pushing through and wondering why no one is even seeing you, feeling invisible. And that feels like you feel like I'm not going to go to the negative side. We already sort of did that. It also feels like you are excited to explore and learn how you like to feel and dress and eat and look and move and music and dance and all of it. You start to get really curious about what works for you. Now, when we're little, bring yourself back to when you were little, you knew all these things, right? You knew all these things. Yeah, Sharon says, I love that magic, the synchronicities. Yeah, Heather, I love all of this. I see myself really landing here right now. I can't wait until there is no wavering. Yes, awesome. Perfect. I love that. Joanne says, I love these alignment feels. I'm resonating. When I'm in alignment, it is a knowing I have, right? It's a knowing. To me, there is faith, believing, and the highest version of that is knowing. You don't have to convince. You don't have to prove. You just know. You also start to find your answers through your personal alignment codes, which is what we're going to be working on in the circle all year long. Movement, writing, meditation it's simple to say that, but if it was that simple, then more people would just be like doing it all the time, but they don't, because they think they have to be taught how to do that, right? So I'm going to teach you some of it throughout this time together, and then most of it through the circle is how to get those alignment codes activated every day. If you've been in my world for a minute and you've done the Magic Morning Practice, then you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Jacinda, yes, I've been feeling more and more like this. Awesome. And finally, you learn to observe versus judge. You observe yourself, you observe others, you move into discernment, you move into adjustment, calibration, and then you move into action, but not before that. Tomorrow, actually, or maybe Wednesday, I'm not 100% sure, I'm going to share with you the divine alignment framework, where I'll show you the how. Like, this is the what and the why, and I'll show you the how, which is going to be awesome. So why is it important to get aligned from the inside? Why am I teaching this? Why am I spending my time thinking, writing, dreaming about alignment? It's really, really, really important. Here's why. It's important to give yourself space to heal, to transform. And to me, transform is not so much about becoming someone different. It's more like the chrysalis stage of a butterfly. It's like who you are is already written into your DNA. It's already written into who you are. But there's a process, a alchemical process that has to happen in order for a caterpillar to quantum leap into a butterfly, right? It feels like magic. It feels impossible, but it happens. But there's something that happens in that chrysalis where it doesn't die. It actually breaks down and then reforms. And that breakdown doesn't have to be like the dark night of the soul, doesn't have to be painful, but it has to happen. For women, it happens many times throughout our lifetimes, right? As we go from our teen years to womanhood, to motherhood, if that's what we choose, to partnership, to becoming like a queen in your life, becoming a crone. Like, we really have all these stages. And in order for one to emerge, the other one has to alchemically recreate, right? It's not just like I'm deciding I'm changing. It starts with a decision, but there's so much more to it. Critical and crucial to align from inside so you can turn up the volume on your intuition. Like, yes or no, do you feel like you're super intuitive? Is that a superpower that you have? It is one that I have for sure. I cultivate it. I work on it. I feel into it. So it's like a piece of my life. To channel guidance from your inner self, from your soul, from divine, from the universe. When you're aligned, you get epiphanies. You receive information. It's like, oh my gosh, where did that idea come from? I really resonated with the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, specifically the chapter where she said that ideas are always floating around. And in order for an idea to land on you and for you to receive it, you have to be in alignment mode. You have to be in a receiver mode, allowing mode, or else that idea will come to you. But if you don't take any action around it, guess what? It's going to go to someone else. It's really funny, but it happens, right? Big Magic was awesome. Yes. Jacinda, yes. Cultivating your intuition. Align from inside helps you to develop your voice. Your voice, what you stand for, what's important to you. I remember when I was younger, I met my husband and he was like, you got to use your big girl voice. And it used to piss me off. But looking back, I can see what he was talking about, because I used to be like, I don't know, my voice was just smaller. Like, I didn't demand, I didn't declare. I just sort of hoped that my voice would be heard. In some pieces of my life, I actually was pretty strong. But in other areas of my life, I had a lot of growing to do, a lot of claiming to do, a lot of aligning to do, so that now I don't care who's around. I'm still me, and my voice comes through loud and clear. To know and understand yourself better. The more you know and understand yourself, your process of making decisions, your process of creating, your process of rest and renewal, the more you can trust your own cycle, the less you will compare yourself to others. Comparison is the number one dream killer ever, I've experienced it. You compare yourself to some future version of you that you think you can't reach. You compare yourself to others you think are further ahead than you, who have something that you don't have. And therefore it keeps you sort of spinning your wheels in the same stories of victimhood, of sabotaging yourself, of childlike innocence that means you don't know, but not like in the curious, I don't know, and like, I don't know how to do that, so someone else has to do it for me, right? So it's a very important aspect of being aligned from inside. You start to hold boundaries with grace. So first of all, you can't hold a boundary that you don't have. So if you're just hoping and praying and wishing, excuse me, much better. If you're hoping and wishing and praying that someone just magically receives your boundary, it's never going to happen. You're just simply going to be like, that's where you start being a little passive aggressive, because you're like, well, why did they just know I didn't like that? Right? It's like, it's not fair to yourself or the other person. So boundaries is one of the important pieces of the divinely aligned framework that we are going to dive into this year, because I realize that so many women have a problem with this, right? Jacinda, I'm just starting to have boundaries, and it's the most transformative thing. It is huge. And at first you might feel very like bold and angry about your boundaries, but I believe that boundaries held with grace are actually very compassionate and loving to yourself and those around you, because there's going to be times where someone holds a boundary to you and you're going to be like, wait a minute, like, what do you mean you don't want me to do that? Right? So you have to be able to understand what it feels like to have a boundary held up to you, but also to hold one with compassion and grace. Joanne says, my biggest sticking point, got to work on not comparing myself. It is so hard. It is hard because we think it's hard, right? But I'm going to show you, the more you get aligned from inside, the more you understand that comparison, Joanne, you've known me for a long time now. You're in the circle. Comparison is a lie. It's a lie. There's no way. Awesome, Casey. I'll see you soon. There's no way that your journey and the other person's journey is the same. It's a very different experience. Who they are, their experience, their lifetime, their family, their traumas, their wins. Like, it's so different. And the more we can start to pull back our own energy into the space of knowing, like, I am a unique being with a unique path, and therefore comparing myself to someone else is only a way of sabotaging myself, right? It's another sabotage. So we will definitely play with that. Also, to amplify without pushing. When you're aligned from the inside, it feels like you're resonating very strongly, and those who need to hear your message find their way to you. The perfect people, place, and thing happens in divine timing, and you finally get it. Like, oh, I don't have to push this. I can just trust my own way of doing this. And that's actually a key element, Joanne and others, to unlocking that comparison piece. That we're still going to sort of do it because that's how we're wired, but we have to rewrite that wiring and understand so we can celebrate others instead of wishing we were them, because we don't wish we were them. Like, you might think that, but it's not true. It's like really, really not true. Again, with the boundary, you say no with ease, you say yes with delight, and you create conditions for a quantum leap. You create conditions to be where you are, see where you want to go, and to know that that gap is not real. Like, it's not a Grand Canyon. It's not a 10-year path. It can happen tomorrow or next week. It's just, or a year from now, right? It just depends on how quickly you can drop the resistance and get into that daily alignment practice. You start to own your own pace and your own rhythm for creation. You start to hear your soul speak to you because you are actively connecting with it. This is a huge element of trusting that you are not a limited being. You have endless, limitless capacity to create because you are connected with your soul, which has no boundaries, no time, no space. And because you believe in this, you start to commit to making time for your own inner work. I know so many coaches and creatives out there who are like constantly taking in other people's information and like helping other people, but they're not actually creating space for their own inner work, which happens on a daily basis. Like, spoiler alert, it never ends, right? Because you're constantly aligning to being alive, and life changes. That's the nature of life and nature. It's constantly changing, and how you navigate through it is alignment. So when you trust your inner power, when you trust yourself and you really own it, you start to attract with intention and aligned energy. And I wanted to show you two visuals. I want to share with you first the trust framework, and then actually first the alignment framework and then the trust framework. I'll show that to you right now. Just hang on 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so just let me know when you can see it. So first I'm sharing the divinely aligned, oh, there's my human design. Actually, I wanted to share the trust framework first. So let me know if you can see this. Make sure I can move this down here. So let me just come back here. Can you see? Let me make sure you can see this. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I want to share with you the divinely, hang on, you guys. I'm sorry. For some reason. Okay, there we go. The divinely aligned aspect of trust. So starting at the top, when you are divinely aligned, you experience this deep, deep sense of trust. Trust in yourself, which leads to a freedom in your self-expression, which leads to a clarity in your own feelings and an access to your own unique codes of creation. And we're not going to get into that during this masterclass, but you have a way that you create in the world, whether it's through movement, through artwork, through voice, through writing. You have unique codes of creation that I want to help you access. When you're divinely aligned, you trust your intuition deeply. You learn how to interact with it. You can know it, see it, hear it, feel it. Or sense it. I should have put sense it too. Everyone has a different way of connecting with their own intuition. And once you understand yours, you will never doubt yourself again, because you'll understand how intuition is trying to communicate with you. Next is you will trust stillness. People are scared of stillness because when you're still, you actually start to buzz and you start to feel and hear all the distraction. So when you do trust your own stillness, you actually get to regulate your nervous system, which for us in this time period of 2020 and 2021 is super thrashed. And we start to understand that stillness and quiet is actually how to reset your nervous system. And I'm going to share with you in the circle many, many ways to do that. We'll try a few here. So that's one reason why sometimes we have a really hard time creating in our business, because we're so drained. Our adrenals are constantly on, which means we're in fight or flight or freeze. And so when you start to create and take that risk of creating that bold, courageous action, you're actually so drained already that you just don't have the bandwidth to create it. So it's a really big problem, right? We start to trust stillness so much that we reach for it. We reach for it and we know that we're going to release distraction and access our inner guidance. The next access point is when you're divinely aligned, you start to trust source from within, which is like the universe or God or whatever, however you connect with it. You start to connect with it through nature, through signs all around you, through synchronicities happening, through helpful people showing up at the right time. When you trust that, you start understanding that you can let go of that hustle and grind and you can actually relax, like really, really relax, because you know that you are sourced from within. Another big aspect is being able to trust the unknown. This scares the pants off of people, right? Like they need to know, especially those of you out there who like to control things. I get it. I've been there too. Once you trust the unknown, you get comfortable with mystery. You get comfortable with adventure. You get comfortable with shadow and grief and imagination and fantasy. And you get comfortable with not knowing what happens tomorrow. and you just focus on creating now, right? Because now is the only place that you can create from. And finally, you trust your soul's voice. What does it mean to trust your soul's voice? It means that your soul is not in time. It doesn't have a watch. It's not in space. It doesn't care where you live or where you want to live. It's not limited by any human-made concept. It is beyond this lifetime. And when you can trust that soul's voice, it becomes your biggest resource. And I'm going to show you how to tap into that over these next few days. Okay, so the next one I wanted to show you was divinely aligned strategy looks very, very different from typical marketing, business, even life strategy. The way I work with aligned strategy, divinely aligned strategy, when I work with you as my client or you're in my circle, is through these 6 different pathways. First and foremost, I love doing this. One of my favorite things to do is to help you create your signature framework. Everyone has a signature framework, and it's the way you do things. Now, you might not think it's a framework, but it is. I just helped someone in here. She's actually in this group right now. She's a long-term client and one of my original circle members. Recently just helped her create a gorgeous framework, a seasonal framework that I'm not going to share here. It's up to her to share it. It was one of my favorites because it was so magical. Like, it was so beautiful. Like, as soon as it clicked in, it made every part of her work make sense. And now she has a way to communicate with social media and her clients and circles that makes sense because it's her own signature framework. It's not taken from anyone else. It's not teaching somebody else's methodology. It's hers. Divinely aligned strategy is also underlying with ease, play, and pleasure. Like, if it doesn't feel good, if you don't like it, don't force yourself to do it. It's such a misguided mentality to feel like you have to force things when actually you are this sort of brilliant, created being that has access to so much. And as long as you can find ease and play and pleasure, you can get inspired instead of feeling like you have to force something to happen, because usually that doesn't work anyway, right? Not long-term anyway. Divinely aligned strategy is also having impact with your natural authority, which is the way you like to show up, the way you like to be in creation. I remember telling this to my husband, I'm like, I love to write when I'm alone, but in a coffee shop, like around people. And when I learned about my own human design, which we will also dive into during the circle during this year, it was so funny because part of my design, it literally said that, like, you like to create around other people. Like, for me, for some reason, I just learned this about myself. So I intuitively knew that. But we all have this way of working in the world that lights us up, where things just come naturally and flow easily. Like, I can create a whole website in a day when I'm in a flow, or it can take me 6 months of forced, trying to do it a certain way. Next is timeless choices, means that you're not choosing something because you think it makes sense now. You just know that it's going to work. And for however long you're excited about it is how long you're going to do it. This is not the typical strategy that people teach, which is like, make a choice and stick to it forever until it works, right? Never quit. And that's just not going to work for everyone. Like, for me, I like to have multiple things going on at the same time. I love to be excited about my work. And the way I receive information about my work is like going on walks, doing, showers. Like, I have really funny ways of creating, but if I just sit down and force it, it's never going to feel exciting to me. And therefore, it's not going to feel resonant to you. Divinely aligned strategy also looks like resonance and being magnetic. Again, this is everything we're talking about. Once you create from this place, it's almost like everything I make turns to gold. Not everything, but a lot of things, especially when I create them in an aligned way. And I can look back on this decade of online work and see, and people sort of know me for this. My friends are like, how do you do that? Like, you just have an idea, you get really excited about it, you create it in 2 days, and then poof, you sell it and you make $10,000. How do you do that? I'm like, oh yeah, I do that. I wasn't even super conscious about doing it. It's just something happens to me, where I get this idea and it sits for a while, it percolates. It seems on the outside like it just happened really fast, but on the inside, it's like percolating, percolating, percolating. I haven't told anyone. And then poof, it's so loud that I can't hide it anymore. And I create it. And like, I've done this multiple times. And the things that I like really try to over strategize don't work out that well for me. So you have a methodology too. It's just about identifying it. And again, inner authority, we already talked about this. So I'm not going to go too deeply into it, but it's literally about just trusting the way that you lead. Lead yourself, lead your family, lead your business. It's very, very powerful. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Facebook group for a minute here. Sharon says, when I'm stuck on a grant, I would take my laptop over to the rotunda at the medical center and the words would flow. See, I'm not alone. Like, I think I'd be really curious, Sharon and others, if we do spend time together in their circle. And Sharon, since you're already in the circle, we will. I'm totally curious about what your human design is, because that's going to inform a lot of how you like to create. And sometimes, like, we know, but getting that like validation from your own inner design, it's like, oh yeah, that is how I like to create. It just gives you permission, which we don't really need, but it does. It gives you permission to just own and trust that you do have a way of creation and you don't need anyone else to help you do it. Okay, so before we move into this final quantum alignment activation, if you don't have your journal and pen, this would be a great time to get it. Let me know if you have any questions about anything I've said so far. We're perfectly timed. I wanted to leave like 10 to 15 minutes for this quantum alignment activation, which is going to take you into your past, your present, and your future. You're a manifesting generator. Me too. So yes. So I'm not surprised, Sharon, that you went to somewhere that has a lot of people, but you're working solo and it flows. I am the same exact way, which was a big challenge for me when the pandemic started and I'm writing a book, and it was like, I just didn't know how to move past it. So I had to like really go into my heart center and figure out what else felt good in terms of writing. And I think I shared this in the group before, where I had to like decide that being cozy in bed with a cup of coffee and my dog was also very nourishing, and it really worked a lot. I actually got quite a bit of writing done that way. So my first preference is to write in a coffee shop with a lot of other people, which is how I used to work when I was in college too. It's so funny. Like, we just, as long as we can trust our own way, we can really find ourselves like in a great place of knowing that, wow, this is how I work and I'm going to trust that. And that's it. And there's something really like sexy and powerful about a woman who knows what she wants and how she wants it, right? So it's I should have put sexy on that framework too. Okay, so go ahead and grab your journals. Heather, I like that too. Noise in a warm setting like that is soothing and comforting. Absolutely. Yes, my son needs total silence, not me. Yeah, see, like everyone is so different. And here, okay, so this actually brings up a really, really good point before we go into the quantum alignment activation is the gift to those around you, especially like your kids and your partner and your clients. This is a huge one for my clients. Once I started doing this work, and as a coach, I've been a coach for a long time, 20 years now. I kind of knew this intuitively, but having all of this sort of drop into place in my work now, because I trust myself so deeply, and I know that 99% of my answers about everything are within me, and all I need to do is access it, which is easier said than done. I also trust that you, as my client or my family or whoever, also has the answer. So that what that does is, one, it releases me from having to figure it out, because I don't know. Like, I'm very intuitive and I can see and hear for people, but that doesn't mean I know. I know that they know, and my job is to help them access their own brilliance. It's to help you access your own alignment. I can give you ideas, which I'm really good at. It's part of why I'm here on this earth, is to help people see their own brilliance and also share what works for me. It's kind of interesting combination. But then you don't have to get so miffed or pissed off or annoyed when other people don't do it the way you do it. And Joanne, this really speaks to this comparison piece, is because you have no idea the energy, the alignment, the hustle that it takes for someone else to show up in that screen, or like what you're seeing is just like an iceberg, right? We're just seeing the top. The underneath is you have no idea what it takes for someone to show up and to write and to create and to have a family and to be healthy and all the things. So we don't know, right? You can see how complex you are as a person and creator, that we just don't know what it takes for someone else to be successful and to show up. And if they're even sharing everything, right? We know that most people don't on social media. I don't share everything about my life. So you see one thing, but the iceberg reality is something different. Not that I am congruent and I am aligned. So it's not like I turn off the camera and I become this like total witch. Not like good witch, I am that way, but like I don't become some mean person who hates helping people. Like it just wouldn't, you'd sense it, you'd know it, right? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is there's a congruence, but it doesn't mean that I have to be an open book in every area of my life. And that's what this sort of alignment means. So I'm going to bring up this pretty graphic because I have it and I love graphics and I love designing. So hang on just one moment while I get it for you. And let's see. All right, I'm going to make it all big so you can see it. I did have a typo in my first version, so luckily I fixed that. Okay, I'm going to just make sure that you can see it here. Looks like there's a little bit of delay. Okay, so this is the quantum alignment activation. And as I mentioned in previous emails, and if you've seen me post and invite people to this, there's 2 different types of alignment that we're going to work on throughout our time together here. And that is mind, body, and spirit alignment, which is what we're going to work on tomorrow and the next day. Which means that what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're doing are in alignment. And the way I teach that is through basically the framework that I'll show you over the next couple of days, which is movement, meditation, breath work, and writing, journaling. But there's this one missing piece in alignment that a lot of people sort of don't want to look at because it feels sort of untenable. It feels like a lot of work, but it's not. It's not a lot of work, and I'll show you why. And you can do this over and over and over again. And actually, I'm going to create a meditation around this. So what we're looking at on the screen now, for those of you who are listening as a recording, is past, present, and future alignment. It's really simple. Not easy, but it's simple. It's not easy because it's almost like part of you wants to go into resistance and just turn this off. And I invite you to just take a breath and stay with it, okay? So when it comes to the past, we're looking at forgiving and embracing. And again, you don't have to know all the details of something and sit in 10 years of psychotherapy to know what we're looking at here. We're going to go really quickly, and we're going to trust our intuition to give us exactly what we need in order to align. The present is about embracing your body and your mind currently in this moment as a portal. And remember, I said this is the only place you can be aligned and create from. That's it. There is no other time. It's right now, right now, right now, right now. We're constantly creating our past and we're constantly stepping into our future. And the only place we can create it is from here. And the future trick, secret element code, which we're not going to dive fully into today, but there is a code. It's allow and receive. We block our own future because of what I said earlier. When you are here and you're there, the dream you have, the thing you want to create is over there in the future. For most people, unless you've done this work with me, for most people, it's way out in the future, right? People tell you to do like a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later. Like it's a Grand Canyon gap between where you are and where you want to be. And if you are still living sort of in your past and you haven't forgiven and embraced it, it's like you're dragging a rock with you into your present. which then of course you can't embrace the moment because you're like, well, I've got all this stuff I'm working through. Now, this isn't to say you don't do the inner work and work on releasing things from your past. You do. But for our purpose today, I want to show you that the quantum alignment activation can happen like that. And what I would say even more is if you can do this for several days in a row, you're going to start to see things released. You're going to start to see things arrive, synchronicities, unexpected money shows up. You're going to feel manifestations happening faster than they have ever before. That's why I put this wave there, right? This wave, like once it, like you don't see the wave happening, it's under the water. But once it comes up, it bursts through with all this energy. So what we're doing when we're living in the past and not trusting the future is we're sort of creating all this energy underneath the water, but we're never allowing it to fully manifest into our present experience. So I want you to follow along here and we're going to go really quickly here because it doesn't have to take a lot of time. So first we're going to go into the past and we're going to find something that is holding you back, whether it's an experience, a belief, debt in the past, something that feels like it really constricts your creation and manifestation. And all I want you to do right now, don't overthink it, is just take a moment to close your eyes and just ask yourself. So before you ask, I want you to take a deep breath. And I want you to bring your attention and awareness. We're going to do a quick relaxation. I can just feel some of you getting tense and tight. So I just want to do a quick relaxation. You can put a hand on your heart, maybe one on your belly. And just start from this moment, becoming aware of your feet. I'm going to say each body part. And as I speak each body part, just feel it softening. Bring your attention and awareness to your body. Continuing to inhale and exhale through your nose. If you need to exhale once or twice or even 3 times through your mouth, just to relax your body, go ahead and do that. Allowing your full body to just relax in the moment. You'll notice your mind starting to bring up some to-do lists, some resistance. That's okay. Just let it exit on the exhale. Sometimes I like to envision an ice cube melting into hot tea. Just bring your attention and awareness to your feet, your calves, your shins, your thighs, your hips, your belly, your solar plexus, your chest, your back. Continue inhaling and exhaling, relaxing your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your neck, your face, your ears, your scalp, the muscles behind your eyes. And just acknowledge the difference just in this quick 30, 60 seconds of relaxation, how profoundly it can bring you into the present moment. And now bring your attention and awareness to your heart, allowing a tiny little light, little candle to turn on. In fact, it's always been on. It's your inner pilot light. And just activate it to get a little bigger. Warming, illuminating that internal landscape. And now from this place, I want you to go to your past. I don't know how far back. You need to ask yourself, what is one thing holding me back from manifesting what I desire, and where does it live? And just trust wherever your mind's eye brings you, wherever your heart lands. Whether you envision a relationship gone wrong, whether you envision your bank account, whether you envision a mistake you made that you can't let go of, whatever it is, I want you to draw a circle around it in your mind, a 3D circle like a bubble, and just let it sit there for a moment. And just let it be there without judgment or fixing. And now I want you to take that timeline and go forward into the future. And as you stand on the precipice of your future, not quite knowing where to go, I want you to focus on that light in your heart once again and ask, where is my wealth and manifestation right now? Where is it? How far ahead of me is it? And just notice where you go. Is it a place? Is it a time? Is it a feeling in the future? Is it a specific age? Just go there without judging. We're not overanalyzing. We're just going. You might find yourself in a beautiful beach house of your dreams. You might find yourself in your dream job. You might find yourself the boss of a company. Doesn't matter. There's no wrong here. We're not committing to anything. We're just being curious and activating your future. Just go there. Go to that moment right now. And I want you to be in it, whatever it is. If it's a house, stand in it. If it's being debt-free, look at your bank account with zero debt and lots in your savings and checking. If it's a person you're with, go there. If you're wearing something as the boss of your company, go there, sit in your office, wherever it is. And just take a nice deep breath in and out. Just be in it. How does it feel in your body? What clothes are you wearing? Who else is with you? Remember to put yourself in the situation. Maybe you're sitting in a cozy chair in your beautiful lake house looking over the water. How does it feel? Is there a blanket? Are you celebrating your book deal? Just go there. Maybe it's several different spots in the future. Take a nice deep breath. And now place a bubble, a golden light bubble around that situation, just around the whole thing. And now come back to the present moment. And in your mind's eye, I want you to take one hand and hold that beautiful golden bubble from the past. And I want you to take your right hand and hold that beautiful bubble from the future. And slowly bring them together, holding them in front of you as if you're showing the two bubbles to yourself. Past in your hand, the future in your right hand, the past in your left. And then count to 3 and slowly bring your hands up, 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 up. And put those two bubbles into your crown, allowing that golden light of past and future to fill your body with light, starting with your head, filling your entire head space, down your shoulders, inside and out, filling your heart space, your lungs, your inner belly, your solar plexus, your sacral center, filling your hips and down your legs until your entire body is glowing with a golden light of alignment of the past and the future, timeless, spaceless, limitless. How does this feel in your body? From this moment right now, there is no discernment, there is no separation between the past and the future. It is all happening right now. Where do you feel it most strongly? Is it in your heart center? Is it in your belly? Remember to relax your shoulders. And as you breathe, your aura of golden light from creation, from alignment, from quantum activation is starting to be filled. Your entire aura, pulse it out about a foot above you, below you, and around you. and back and front. It's pulsating with a golden light of timeless creation. Everything that you've forgiven and embraced in the past is now here, and everything that you're allowing to be created in the future is now here. There is no past and future. It's right here, right now. In your mind's eye, say, yes, I fully receive this now. Take a nice deep breath and release. Take a moment to flutter your eyes open and anchor yourself into the moment right now, as we have just created from the past, present, and future. I see my screen popped off for a moment as I was in my own creation as well with you, holding space for your creation. I want to come back to you now. Make sure we're all good here. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to anchor this in with an affirmation that you are going to say 3 times tonight before you fall asleep. And you're going to say it 3 times as you wake up tomorrow. And this is how you're going to write the affirmation. I want you to follow along with me. It's really simple. Don't overcomplicate it. You're going to write the following phrase: even though I, ... and fill in whatever the situation was, whether it was, even though I have had debt in the past, even though I have not been able to figure out my soul's calling, even though I haven't found success in the past, whatever it is. The next line is, I see now how it helped me to ... For example, I see now how it helped me to learn more about finances than I ever would have. I see now that it helped me create better boundaries. Again, there's no right or wrong here. The next line is, I am so excited to step into ... whatever you saw in the future. My new home overlooking the lake, my new business that I created with ease and grace and joy, my bank account overflowing with cash for everything I want to do. And then you're going to end it with, I choose it now, so it is done. That is the affirmation you're going to take a few minutes to write out. Even though I ... I see now how it helped me to ... I am so excited to step into ... the future vision. And then you're going to end it with, I choose it now, so it is. That affirmation is your anchor for the experience that you just had. This quantum alignment activation that you just did with me is going to continue to ripple out, and it needs to be anchored into the now. So again, write it out. Come back to this recording if you need to and watch the last 15 minutes. Do it again if you need to. If you feel like it didn't quite land, you didn't quite get to where you wanted to, come and watch the last 15 minutes of this recording. Write out the anchor affirmation. Repeat it 3 times before bed, 3 times upon waking. Do it for sure, minimum 1 day. If I were you, and I am me, I would do it every day this week. And then keep a journal nearby, because watch for manifestations, helpful people, things opening, golden door opportunities, things falling away. Sometimes things need to fall away in order for something new to be birthed. So that is your quantum activation alignment for today. We're going to do 2 different ones tomorrow and Wednesday. We're going to do 2 different quantum activations that are going to help you anchor and step into the wealth, the soul purpose, the creation that you've already told me, all the stuff you wave that magic wand, that's what we're creating, right? I'm not telling you what to create. I'm telling you how to step into alignment from inside. Okay. Finally, the last thing I want to share, first of all, let me know if you have any questions about any of it, the meditation, the journaling, the affirmation, any of it. Let me know any questions, whether you're watching this live or as a recording. The final thing that I wanted to share with you is that the circle is now officially open for 2021. Anyone who joins during these live masterclasses this week will get 2 bonuses, which is Voxer coaching access to me throughout the circle, meaning like you can Voxer me when you're creating your framework, when you're working on your coaching, when you're coaching clients. You will have access to me as your in the moment coach. That's a huge bonus. I have literally never offered this before. I usually charge anywhere from $800 to $1,200 a month, depending on the coaching package for just this particular access, because it's pretty amazing to have a coach in your pocket. So that, and then you'll get 4 one-on-one coaching calls with me, which is also worth thousands of dollars, that you can use anytime throughout the year to use for your framework creation, for your branding, messaging, whatever you want to work on in your coaching business. You can use it for self-care coaching as well. That's one of my zones of joyness. So those are the 2 bonuses that you get if you join live during this week. There are other bonuses that everyone gets during this enrollment period. But those 2 bonuses are specifically if you join this week. Those of you who are already in the circle, the way you can access those bonuses is if you enroll one other person in the circle. You can get those bonuses as well. So let me just show you really quickly. I'm going to put the link below. Let me go ahead and share my screen really quickly and just show you the page so you can see it. So this is what it's going to look like. It's join the divinely aligned circle for inner worth, inner wealth, and inner grace. And basically, I want you to go through this because this isn't just like joining some membership that I never show up in. I show up with you for 2 live group calls. We have co-working, co-writing sessions. We have monthly guest experts. We have virtual retreats. This is going to be amazing. But I want you to really go through this and see and access. You can check out all the testimonials. You can check out the monthly content, which is all new for 2021, which includes everything we talked about today, like creating inner wealth, discerning your wants and your needs, decluttering your inner and outer systems, managing your inner and outer rhythms, managing your energy, simplifying your life and your business systems, how to curate your routines and habits for ultimate success and alignment, creating boundaries, like I said earlier, getting visible in a way that serves your business and your life. All the divine resources library you have access to from the last 6 years. We will have virtual retreats, and then everyone starts off with the 21 Days of You course as soon as you sign up. So again, you can look in this, read the testimonials, look at all the different pricing, and all of that is officially open as of today. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link when we're done here. Let me stop sharing real quick. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions throughout all of it. Oh, thank you, Joanne. I'm so blessed to have you in the circle. Again, any questions on the manifestation, on the journaling, go back and watch the recording. Let me know. And that's it for today. We went just about a little over than I thought, about 60 minutes to, a little over is fine. I wanted to share that meditation with you. Thank you so much for being here. I want so much for you. And I can't wait to play with you again tomorrow. And if you're watching as a recording, let me know in the comments below. If you have questions later, tag me and I will see it. If you have any specific technical questions, you can tag Cindy. She's also in the group. She's the operations manager. She's handling all the behind the scenes details. So emails and stuff, if you haven't gotten access, please let me know. Thank you so much, Sharon. I truly appreciate everyone. Thank you, Mary. I'm so glad you got to stay the whole time. Let me know if you have any questions about the circle, about today or any other content, and I will see you tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow, the 12th, is at 2 p.m. The 12th at 2 and the 13th at 3. So I'm trying to keep it super aligned with the energy of, and also the other thing that I want to mention is this, the entire circle is actually going to be supported by astrological forecasts by Cindy. She's also an amazing numerologist and astrologist. So everything we do is supported by numerology. All of the content, all of the events, all of the ways I support you is also supported by numerology and astrology. So lots of magic in our future. I will see you tomorrow at 2 and have a blessed, aligned day. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for listening and learning about the new divine self-care way of being in your life, business, and the bedroom based on the divine feminine metrics of success: pleasure, play, ease, grace, and a slower pace. If you're ready to bust the myth of overwhelm and tap into an inspired start to each day, I've put together a free video series for you to help you start each day with energy, inspiration, and ignite that inner pilot light which attracts joy, magic, and synchronicity. You can access my 3-step magic morning practice to help you ignite your inner light and attract the abundance that you're craving. Head on over to elenalipson.com/gift. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would so love if you share it with a friend, a sister, a mother, a daughter, and please leave a review. That is how the magic starts to ripple out. Here's wishing you a day full of beauty, magic, and divine self-care. I'll see you next time at the Meditations and Musings podcast.